Hello, hello, hello. Get my mic. Check, check, check. My mic sounds nice. Check one. My mic sounds nice. Check two. Good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Thursday. Hope that your day has been wonderful. I know my day has been amazing, and I'm excited to be here tonight again, sharing with you all. If you'll take a moment, please, and share this live with everybody. I'm talking about everybody because everybody needs to know. Okay. So share this live. We'll have some conversations. If you have questions, please feel free to drop those questions in the chat. And we're going to talk about a couple of things from budgeting to building your financial house properly to savings, life insurance, all of the above. And then as we move forward, um, we'll go into deeper discussion in terms of each topic in the weeks to come. Happy Black History Month. Shout out to all of us. Happy Black History Month. We are already in February. I am flabbergasted. Happy because this is my birth month, but flabbergasted that we are already in the month of February. Like, where did January go? If somebody knows the answer to that, please, 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 please let me know because I am I didn't even have time to prepare, right? Anyway, we'll get started in another second or so. Let a few more people come on in. Happy Thursday. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Fearless Living Challenge, where we are living fearlessly in 2023. I would play some music, like there's some intro music or something, but they always mute my videos. I don't know what that's about. I got to figure out how to make that work. But so no intro videos. My name is Keisha Natalee Cole. I am AKA Talking Sense, Fearless by Design. And Fearless by Design is basically a company that was created from myself, my bestie Letitia, and my sister Ashley. We all came together and we decided that we needed to do something with all of our talents and all of our skills, right? And we all have something that focuses on life, right? And what's the one thing that stops people from doing the things that they want to do? It's fear, right? People are afraid of the outcome. They're not sure. So they hesitate, right? And they make a lot of decisions based on fear. And so what we want to do is we want to take that fear away by providing the platform, right? By providing the opportunity, by providing the tools that you need to design the life that you want fearlessly, right? Because if you have a plan in place and if you follow the plan, what happens? Generally, you get what you asked, what you're trying to do, right? If you put a plan in place and if you follow the plan comes true, right? The plan comes through, right? And so that's what we do. We're here to help you design your life fearlessly the way that you want it so that you can live life on your terms. What does that look like? Whatever you want it to look like, right? And so we have coaching for finances, we have coaching for life, we have coaching for beauty. If you're an author, we have coaching for that. If you want to build relationships, we have coaching for that. So we're here for you, right? We're here to get you whatever it is you need so you can design your life fearlessly. All right. So let's jump right into it. I'm not going to keep you more than an hour. We'll be done by 9:00. But I wanted to just start out introducing myself for those of you that do not know me. Just to give you a little background on myself, I've been in finance for about 8 years now. This year will make 9 years. And I love it. I'm loving every piece of it, right? I'm loving the connections that I'm forming, the relationships that I'm building. I'm loving being able to help people um, get out of debt and help people put a plan in place that they are able to actually utilize, right? And so that's who I am. Many of you know me. I'm a mom. I've got 4 kids, two that I gave birth to, but I claim four, right? I'm a singer, songwriter, I'm a minister, like I'm so many things. But today we're going to focus on the education, the financial education piece, okay? And here's the thing, right? This is what I know, okay? What I know from all of the people that I've been blessed to sit down with, the individuals, the families that I'm able to work with, what I know is that people don't want like just another product, right? They don't need another product, right? They don't need any goofy sales pitch. They don't need anything that's going to steer them in the wrong direction, right? We've all heard enough of those, okay? Especially when it comes to finance, right? But the truth is, we really don't need another financial product, right? Most people own enough financial products, and most of the time they have been, brought through the sales process rather than an educational process. And that's what I want to do tonight. I want to go through an educational process, right? Um, None of us wants our time wasted. I know I don't, right? So I would never want to waste your time. But here's what I've learned that what people do need, okay? People need the facts, right? And once you have all the facts, then and only then can you really make a good decision. Okay. The problem is people are missing key facts and therefore they're making the wrong decisions. Does that make sense? Right. Like I said, we don't need any more financial products, but what we do need is a strategy. Okay. We need to know how those things that we own, how those different areas of our finances, how they fit together and work together. Right. And that's what we need. We need an overall strategy to get us to where we want to go. Now, what's very valuable is getting a clear picture of where you stand today, like, right, a clear financial picture. And most people don't have that. They don't know where to even begin. Okay. And there's three main reasons why people don't do as well as they could. Okay. The first thing is failure to plan, right? People don't plan to fail. I say it all the time, every week, right? People don't plan to fail. They just fail to plan because they don't know how. Right? They don't know where to start. They have no education, no financial education, right? They're not working with a financial professional and they definitely didn't teach us this in school, right? So there's a failure to plan. There's uninformed or missing key information, right? People are uninformed or they're missing that key information. They are misinformed, right? So, in other words, they have information, but it's not the right information, it's incorrect information. Okay. So let's explore these three reasons a little bit further, right? First one is the failure to plan. Okay. I want y'all to stay with me in this analogy, right? A lot of us have been to weddings, right? A lot of us have been in weddings. A lot of us have planned weddings, right? Technically, and I like to ask this question when I'm doing, I'm back, y'all. The enemy is busy. He's like, we don't want them to have this information. That's all right. We're gonna keep pushing through. Okay. All right. So as I was mentioning, whenever I ask this question, right? How many of you have been to a wedding? Most times a lot of people, say I have been to a wedding. And the question that I ask is how long were the events of the wedding for the day? And most times, and I mean from like the bride getting ready, the groom getting ready, all of the bridesmaids and the groomsmen and everybody getting ready to go to the church, right? Then they get to the church and then they go to the reception. And then after the reception, they leave for the honeymoon, right? How long would you say that those events of the day last, right? And most people are like all day, like a whole day. We can all agree it takes a whole day for a wedding, right? Now, how long did the bride and her mom spend planning for that day? Or if the groom was a part of it, right? How long did the planning for the wedding take? Okay. Most people will say a year, 2 years, 3 years, their whole life, right? But we can agree it's usually about 12 and 18 months, right? Okay. Now, how long does your average retirement last? Most times I ask that question and they're like, probably about 25 years, right? And that's if you're fortunate, okay? But we could definitely agree that retirement usually lasts about 15 to 20 years for sure, right? And so the real question becomes how long does the average family spend planning for that retirement? Okay. The statistics tell us that your average person will spend more time planning a 2-week vacation than they do their retirement. Okay. Now they work their whole life to get there to retirement. Okay. Most of us work 25 to 30 years just to get there. But the actual planning amounts to a very small amount of time. Okay. Now, wouldn't you agree, right, that something isn't right here? Something's off. Okay. Because if we can spend 18 months a year planning for one day, and only a couple weeks planning for an event that could potentially be 25 years, there's a real failure to plan out there. Okay. The second thing is, I said people are uninformed, they don't have the information, right? So, would you agree with me if I said that our educational system here in the United States consists of school, college, workforce, right? That's reasonable to say, or sometimes just school and workforce, right? Some people don't go to college, right? Okay. Now, in this system of education, school, college, workforce, where were you taught about the tax code? Was there anywhere in there that they taught you about the tax code, right? Nowhere. Okay. But once you get out into the workforce, you're working, you get your first paycheck. What's the very first thing that happens, whether we like it or not? You're looking at that paycheck and you're wondering why it says one thing at gross and then another thing at net, right? And you're wondering, who the heck is this FICA taking all my money, right? We don't know anything about taxes, right? And so, you know, how can we possibly make the best decisions if we don't have even the basic facts on how it works? Right? We're in the system of education. Does it teach us the rule of 72, for example? Nowhere. Okay. How many of y'all have ever even heard of the rule of 72? Right? A lot of people haven't. Right. And so I know I wasn't taught the rule of 70. I didn't learn the rule of 72 until I came into this business. And the rule of 72 is fundamentally one of the most powerful principles in all of finance, right? In fact, if you don't know the rule of 72, I can guarantee you that it's being used against you, right? But it's like it can definitely be understood with fifth grade math. Y'all ever watch that show, I'm Not Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? I'm sure if I went on that show, I would definitely be like, nope, I'm not smarter than a fifth grader. Because some of those questions that they ask, I'm like, this is not, no, no, absolutely not. In the fifth grade, I didn't learn none of that stuff in the fifth grade. None of it. Okay, I digress. All right. Okay. Where was I? Rule of 72. Yes. Okay. So yeah, like I said, I didn't learn it until I was way older, right? And I definitely didn't learn it from school. Okay. And I went to high school, college after that, got my master's and went to seminary school. And none of these schools taught me about the rule of 72. All right. But I'm going to explain to you that rule in a little bit. Okay. So there's a real lack of information in our educational system when it comes to handling money. Because I know that if they would have had a course in how to get rich 101, I would be in the front seat, like chilling with my notebook, my pen, ready, paying attention. Okay. And then the third thing is people are misinformed. Okay. They have information, but it's not correct. So if we don't learn about money in school, or if we don't even learn about it in college, because listen, I've sat with a lot of people who have master's degrees in finance, and they still don't know some of the things that I share, that I share with my clients and that I share when I do these webinars. So if we don't learn about that in school, where do we go to learn about money? A lot of times people go to the internet, right? They go to the internet, and we know that the internet is not always accurate, right? Especially the younger generation, they run to the internet. The internet is like the holy grail. It's like the Bible, right? They run to the internet, and it's not always accurate. Another answer I usually get is family. People get information from family. All right. Now, if you're taking notes, I want you to jot this down. Okay. Stop taking advice from people who are not making it financially. Don't take advice from broke people. I'm just saying. I was there, right? I used to take advice from people that were doing just as bad as I was, or even worse. Why? Because I didn't know any better. All I knew was, I don't know. They heard it somewhere down the line. Their mama's uncles, cousins, little sister used to put the money under the mattress, and that's where they left it. And so my money went under the mattress. Now I don't keep my money under the mattress, y'all. So don't be trying to come for me. But I'm just saying, that's an example. right? So you do not want to learn about money from people who don't know about money. All right. Where's another place that people learn about money? Their accountant, right? That could be a great source of key information, but are accounting principles and finance principles necessarily the same? The answer is no. No, they're not, right? And here's the thing. Not all accountants, some accountants do have some information, do know a little bit about financial principles, right? But when you think about it, the function of an accountant is really to keep track of what's already been done, right? Does that make sense? But finance deals with making and growing money for the future. So you just have to be careful because an accountant may or may not have all the information that's needed. All right. If you're just joining us, we're talking about people being misinformed, right? Where are people getting their information from? Okay. And then another place people get their financial information from is the bank. Now, I want you to think about something. Okay. What business is the bank in? If you said the business is in the bank of making money, you're absolutely right. The business is the bank is in the business of getting money and making money, right? And the bank lends money to make money, right? So if it's their business to lend money to make money, then what motivation do they really have to teach you how to get out of debt and pay them less interest? None, right? The job security lies in the fact that there are a lot of people in debt. Now, my philosophy is I'd rather see you be debt free, right, than in debt. Okay. And that's actually a key piece of building your financial house, right? We're all adults here, right? If there are kids on here, that's cool, right? But we all are working to build a financial house. And the financial house is built over a long period of time, right? It's all of our working years. Like we said, maybe about 25 to 30 years of working, and you have money coming in, right? And then you have money going out, right? And whether you like it or not, we're being forced to deal with taxes. We're being forced to deal with debt in some capacity. We're forced to deal with savings or investing. And you must deal with insurance, whether we like it or not. So what do? We go out into the workforce, we start we start our families and we try to build a career, and we have to deal with all of these complex areas of finance, and we've never been trained on it. We don't know what we're doing. That could definitely present a problem. And over time, we're building this financial house by the way that we handle all of these aspects of money. Okay. So I want to talk to you about what it takes to build a well constructed financial house. All right. And I'm just going to share a slide with you so that you can see the financial house, what I'm talking about, right? This is how we're going to talk about how we build a well constructed financial house. All right. Now, when you build a house, what do you usually start with? Start with a foundation, right? You can't go in and tell the contractor, hey, dude, I want you to start with my walk-in closet because I like walk-in closets. I want mine to be really big. And so I want you to focus there first. And then when you're done, you can go to the kitchen, make the kitchen, and then build the living room. And I'm talking about when you're building from the ground up, your house is going to be looking crazy, number one. And number two, it's probably going to fall, right? And so the foundation of a well-built financial house is also called income protection, because this house that's built over all these years is built on a major assumption, and that assumption is that there's going to be money there. Okay. So if we have something, we have to have something in place that protects us in case we lose that income, right? In case one of the breadwinners pass away and that income stops. Because honestly, who's going to pay that income? Not the company. They're just going to hire somebody else, right? And so we want to make sure that you have something in place just in case. And the best way to do that is by using what's called life insurance. Okay. I like to consider it as renting a big pile of money in case anything happens, right? Your family has something to help take care of them. So, life insurance is renting a big pile of money in case your family needs it, right? Because it's not for you. Okay. It's for your family, for your loved ones, to make sure that, God forbid, anything were to happen to you, they will be okay. I like to look at it like this. Okay. If you had 40 $100 bills, Okay. And it took one of those $100 bills to make sure that the other 39 kept coming into the household after you gone. It makes sense to pay that $100, doesn't it? Absolutely. Right. Okay. So to build our financial house, to build that foundation, we got to have life insurance, but the right kind of life insurance. There's two types out there. Okay. There's whole life and then there's term life. One is more expensive, pays a bigger commission, right, to the folks that sell it. The other one is more cost effective, pays a lower commission, right? And what do you think most people end up with? Most people end up with these whole life policies, the one with the bigger commission and the one that's more expensive, right? Because they sell it to you with a lot of misinformation, right? They tell you all of these wonderful things that make you think that it works for you, it's beneficial for you, but then they leave out a whole lot of the funny banking rules that come along with that. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later. Okay, so we've got these two different types. Got to make sure you have the right one. Listen, I'm with Susie Orman. Term life insurance is the way to go. It is what it is. Term life insurance, it is what it is. Life insurance should not be for your whole life. You should not be paying a company for your entire life for life insurance. Okay. That's all I'm going to say right there. We'll come back around. Okay. So once we have the foundation in place, the next important thing when we're building a structure is the fact that we have to build it in order. Okay. Imagine if I was building this house, right? I got the framing done, the sheetrock on the wall, it's all painted really pretty, right? And then I remember that I forgot the wiring. Two things are going to happen. One, that's going to be very costly to fix, right? But then two, it's going to be messy. And we definitely don't want to have that problem with our financial house, right? So we have to build it in order. Start with the foundation. The next thing we do, for our for our financial house is budgeting, getting our emergency fund and a will. Okay? Here's the thing. It is so important that we have an emergency savings. Okay. I can't stress that enough. So important that we have an emergency savings. Okay. An emergency savings is about 3 to 6 months of your income or your expenses. Okay. Now, a lot of people don't have that in place right now, and that's okay. Right. That's why we're talking about it today. Right. We're going to talk about some ways that you can start and build up that emergency fund. And I want y'all to hear me when I say this. Okay. I want y'all to hear me and hear me good. A credit card is not an emergency fund. I need y'all to understand that. A credit card is not an emergency fund. Okay. It's not. That is an expensive way to borrow money. So you do not want to do that. No credit cards. Okay. Now, once we have the emergency fund together, we've done our budgeting, right? We've gotten our will in place. A will is so important. A lot of people think that a will is for, somebody that has a lot of money or a lot of things to give away, but it is more than that. Because here's the thing. If you don't tell the state what you want done, please know that the state is going to tell your family what they're going to do. So make sure you have a will and a good will. Don't just get something off the internet and throw it in there. Get a good will done by a professional. So important. I have experienced some crazy things, okay? Personally. And so you do not want to go through what I've gone through. All right. So let's make sure you have that will in place. So once you've gotten that floor taken care of, we are going to talk about debt. Okay. You need a plan to reduce or eliminate debt. You have to control your debt, right? I know a lot of us know about that thing called debt, right? Reality is debt is part of our society, and as individuals, as a country, there's good debt and there's bad debt. And then there's ways to handle it, right? And the lenders, the people lending the money, the banks, the credit card companies, they don't want us to know how to pay them back. And so I teach you how to do that method as well, right? Here's the thing. The key with the debt plan is it has to be written. You have to write it out so you can see it. Usually when I ask people, when is your debt-free day? Like, when are you going to be out of debt? I usually get two answers. One, when I'm dead, or two, never. Okay. And we don't want you to live that way. I definitely do not want you to live that way because you can control and eliminate debt. I've had clients that I've put a debt plan together for them. They followed the plan and now they're out of debt, right? And that's the goal. You have to follow the plan. All right. The next level of the financial house is investing. As you can see, college, you can see retirement and then college savings, right? We always start with retirement. Why? Because college savings, kids nowadays have so many different ways that they can go to college. They've got loans, they've got grants, they've got scholarships, right? They don't have none of that for us in retirement, y'all. Let me tell you, I called the bank, okay, and I was like, "Can I get a retirement loan?" Because I was ready to retire. I'm not even gonna front, y'all. I was done. I wanted to retire and be over. Okay. They were like, "Ma'am, please stop calling our phone and playing on here." I was like, "But I'm for real. I want to know, can I get a loan to retire?" And then no, there is no retirement loans, no retirement scholarships, grants. We have to fund our own retirement. So sorry, y'all, but that is not it, right? Now, here's the thing. There's two types of investing platforms. Okay. And we're not talking about short term money. We're talking about mid and long term money. It's saving for things that are important to you, like college education, retirement. Maybe you want to build a house down the road. That's what investing is about, right? Mid and long term, right? And when it comes to investing, there are three things that we have to protect our hard earned money against. There are three things that we got to, those three things, it will take your money or erode it, right? Over time if we don't use specific strategies to protect it from these things. Okay. First thing is taxation. That could definitely take most of your money. Okay. If you're not careful. The second thing is inflation, which is losing buying power over time. $100,000 today does not buy what it used to buy about 25 years ago. Okay. And then there's market fluctuation, the ups and downs of the economy. And a lot of us have lived through that, right? The 2008, the downturn and the financial crisis and the things that happened there. And then in 2001 with 9/11 and how, everything that's happening now, right? That's the way that it goes. So the key to understanding how to do your best to protect your money from those things is to understand how it works. Okay. Now, once you get these things going, then you can build the roof, which is your goals and dreams. That's the fun stuff. That's what people like to do first, right? That's the part of the financial house that folks are living now. They're living their financial house upside down. Okay. They're out there spending money on, the best clothes, the best houses, traveling, driving the fancy cars. They're doing all of that. And then God forbid something happens to them. What is the first thing that people turn to? GoFundMe, Cash App. Can you help us take care of the family? We shouldn't have to do that, right? We should make a plan so we can provide for our loved ones properly. Okay. The next thing that I want to talk to you all about is and then in addition to this house here that you see, a lot of times what you have at work, like some people may say, "Oh, well, I have I have life insurance with work," which is great. But the thing is, um if let's say for example, you're out for 3 months on disability, that life insurance at work is no longer valid, right? How many of you read your policies from work? So you want to make sure that you know exactly what you have, and everything at work is great, but we like to call that extra, right? That's extra stuff. And so you want to make sure that you have your own things in place so that you are able to do the things that you need, right? You're able to understand. Now, the way that we build these financial houses, right? We talk about getting the right life insurance. Now, the two types of life insurance, you've got the whole life, they call it universal life, IUL, what do they call it now? What is it called? Infinite banking, uh, life insurance with living benefits, right? They tell you all of these things, okay, to get you to do one of these whole life policies. Now, I'm not knocking whole life policies. I'm not knocking it at all. But what I'm saying is whole life policies are not the way to go because they have a lot of funny banking rules, and a lot of times The life insurance company and the agent who sells those types of policies are the ones who really make out. They say, oh, you get life insurance, and then, if you get term life insurance, that life insurance ends after a while. Here's the thing. All life insurance policies have a renewal date. All of them. It's just the way that the industry designed it. Whether it's a whole life policy, whether it's a term life policy, there's a term date. Okay. There's a date of maturity. But the difference is with the whole life policies is they renew those policies at the date of maturity. So if you have a 10-year policy or a 20-year policy, they renew it at that term, year. They renew it. What happens? When you renew your life insurance, it increases based on your age, right? Because unfortunately, life insurance is based on how old you are, and it's based on your health, right? You have to qualify for it, right? And so when your life insurance increases, it triples most times, right? Because you're way older, so it's going to cost a lot more. But instead of the company coming back to you and saying, hey, now you have to pay $200, $400 a month, they take that, right? Like, let's say you were paying $100 a month, and now your insurance increases to $400. So instead of coming back to you and saying you got to pay us another $300, they begin to withdraw that money from your cash value. Okay. So for those of you that don't know what a whole life policy is, it's a life insurance policy with a savings component attached to it. Okay. So they tell you that you can build, you can grow money in a savings account while you have your death benefit. Okay. But after 20 years is up, they renew your policy. Now your policy has increased. They begin to take money from your cash value to make up the difference. Now, what do you think is going to happen when that cash value is depleted? Because they give you a low rate of return. So it's not like you're going to make a whole lot of money in these accounts unless you put a whole lot of money in, right? What's going to happen? That cash value is going to be depleted. Once that cash value is depleted, guess what happens? So is your policy. Now you no longer have a life insurance policy. Okay. So you want to, and you don't got to believe me. If you don't believe me, it's fine, right? You can call if you have a whole life policy, call and talk to the agent. Ask them these questions. All right. Ask them one, right? And here's another thing. Let me go through some of the some of the funny banking rules, and then I'll give you some questions that you can ask to get clarity. Okay. The first thing is when you start a policy like this, you generally do not make any money in the cash value portion of this account for 3 to 5 years. Okay? When you're doing a regular whole life policy, 3 to 5 years. What does that mean? You're paying, let's say $200. You're paying your $200 every month. Okay? That's going into the policy. But for 3 to 5 years, you're not making any money. Your account is at zero. Okay? Then after that period is gone, now your account can start to build money. But who wants to start at zero 3 to 5 years later? Because that's 5 years you're missing out on the market. Okay? Second thing is they tell you, oh, you can borrow from it to buy a house or send your kids to college, to retire, buy a car, whatever you want to do, right? Start a business. But here's the thing. If it's my money, why am I borrowing it? I should just be able to take it, right? But that's not how it works. The whole premise of these policies is there always needs to be cash value in the account. They tell you you could put in $50,000 and it'll be immediately available for you to borrow from. Yeah, because you just put in $50,000. But who has $50,000 every year to keep putting in to a whole life policy? And a lot of times you're paying more for a smaller amount of death benefit. Remember that cash I told you that you rent? I mean, the money that you rent for life insurance, you get a smaller amount, right? But you're paying more into this policy. So that's the second thing. I don't like that. That's a red flag for me. Why do I have to borrow my money? And when you borrow your money, what happens? You're going to have to pay it back. Because if you don't pay it back, what's going to happen? Your death benefit is going to be decreased by the amount of money that you borrowed, right? And if you take all of the money out, it automatically cancels the policy. You have to have cash value in there for the policy to be alive, okay? So you want to make sure that you ask them that. Okay, well, once I started, getting this cash value, if I don't pay it back, what happens? If I take out all of the money and never pay it back, what happens? Right? because what you don't want is to be, like a client of mine that I was trying to help. He had a policy, was in his 80s. He had a whole life policy, and he got a letter saying that his policy was terminated and he couldn't understand why. And when we called to ask what was going on, we found out that they had eaten away at his cash value, utilizing that to pay the value of the account. And they were telling him in order for him to get that policy back, he would have to pay about, I think it was like 500 and something dollars a month to get the policy back on the books. This man is living in retirement. He's living off of Social Security. Where in the world is he going to find $500 a month for life insurance? Right. So now he's got nothing because he's older, and now he's uninsurable, right? Because he has health conditions. I'm just trying to tell you, be educated on what you're getting. If you want the whole life policy, I'm not knocking it. But what I'm saying is understand how it works so that you make sure that you make the best decision for you and your family. Okay. Then the third funny banking rule, because I could be here all day talking about life insurance, y'all. I really could. I should probably just do one on life insurance. I'll probably do that next time. All right. So the third funny banking rule is when you pass away, you would think that your family's going to get what's called the death benefit portion. Like if you said $150,000, they would get $150,000 and they would get whatever is in your cash value account. No, they do not. They get one or the other. Okay. So if the company is giving the death benefit, the company keeps the cash value. If they give you the cash value, give your family the cash value, they never pay a dime out in death benefit. So who's really winning here? It's definitely not you. It's definitely not me, right? It's definitely the company and the agent. Okay. So I'll stop there. If you want more information about how whole life policies work, if you want me to break it down, drop it in the chat. I'll make sure I put together a live to talk about the differences in the policies and exactly how it works so you can understand every piece of it. I'll have, slides for it, and I'll show you exactly how it works. All right. So what I recommend is getting term life insurance. And term life insurance is just that, life insurance, right? Life insurance in case you die too soon, right? It's just like car insurance. It's just like your cell phone insurance. Like you're paying it in case you need it, right? And a lot of people are like, oh, well, I'm putting all this money out, and at 25, 30 years that it's done, and where's my money? Like I said, you're renting a big pile of money in case you die. And here's the thing, you do not need life insurance your whole life. This is how life works, right? We call it the theory of decreasing responsibility. Okay. When you're young and happy and loving life, and everything is great, and you're getting married and you have a family, if this is your life, right? You have a family, you're younger, you probably got a lot of debt, you've got a mortgage, right? And if you lose income, any loss of income is going to be devastating to that family. Okay. Because if half that income stops coming in, what's going to happen to the family? Like, say, for example, I like to look at it like this. If let's say, for example, two family income, $100,000 household, right? Y'all are living $100,000 lifestyle. Okay. Half that income is gone. You still have $100,000 lifestyle off of $50,000. It's just not going to work, right? Because that income is not coming back into the household, right? And so you're renting a big pile of money. God forbid anything were to happen, that your family can be taken care of for years. Not just buy the house, sell, pay the house off and some debt, but that your family can be provided for years, especially if you have younger children, right? You want to make sure that every year that income that was there before stays in the household. And so that's what you need life insurance for, right? Let's say if you had $400,000, $500,000 in life insurance, right? That's what you need it for. Now, here's what we say, and this is the most important piece of it. While you have your life insurance, your term life insurance policy, you have to invest. You must, right? We like to say, get a term life policy, open an IRA, right? Open a Roth IRA, okay? You have to be investing at the same time, because when you live, you need that money for retirement. Your kids are grown, rusty, they off doing their own thing, right? But now you need retirement income. You're out of debt because I done showed you how to get out of debt. You followed my plan, right? Your mortgage is paid off. Boom, that's done. But you need money to live in retirement. And how do you build that? You build that when by opening a Roth IRA or some type of investment account where that money is growing. Now, let me ask you this question. If you have an investment vehicle with $500,000 in it, $1 million or whatever in there, right? Are you really going to need $500,000 in life insurance when you get to retirement age? You're not going to need that. Life insurance at that point becomes a want and not a need, right? Because you're essentially self insured. You got millions sitting up in an account. Your family's going to be okay, right? If anything were to happen to you, because guess what? Both of those accounts now belong to you. So if anything happens to you, your family gets the death benefit and they get the investment vehicle that you have if it's set up properly. So this is what I'm saying to you, right? It's important that you have a financial plan in place so you know exactly what you need to do. If you know where you are, you know where you want to be. You need somebody to tell you how to get there. This is what you need to do first. This is what you need to do second. Okay, this is what you've got coming in. This is how you save. Like when you open a 401k at work, they don't sit down and explain to you which ones to go in, right? Usually you're picking it blind. Nobody's calling you to say, hey, let's talk about your 401k unless you're in a really fabulous company and they do what they're supposed to do, right? Before the pandemic, companies were being fined left and right millions of dollars because they weren't doing right by their employees. Right? They're supposed to have somebody that sits down with each employee and explain things about 401ks. Right? How do you know your money's even in the right vehicle, for it to grow? A lot of people work 30, 40 years and walk away from their job with $300,000 in a 401k account. That's not going to take them through retirement, right? But how are you supposed to know the right vehicles to put your money in if you don't know nothing about it? So that's why it's important that you have a financial professional to help you understand how it works. Where should I put my money? What does this look like? How am I saving? How do I budget? Right? What are some of the questions I need to think about? I'm about to retire. I don't know, right? Got to make sure that you know what you're doing. So a game plan is so important. I can't stress that enough. Credit cards are not it. Got to have that emergency savings. Okay. Got to make sure that you understand exactly what it is that you're doing so that when you get there, you're good. Let me look. I'm gonna show you. We talked about the rule of 72 a little bit. I'm gonna show you what this looks like in real time. Okay. So like I mentioned, the rule of 72 basically tells you how many doubling periods it takes for your money to grow. You're going to divide your interest rate into 72 to find the approximate number of years it takes for your money to double. Okay. So we've got three different categories here: 3%, 6%, 12%. These are all investment vehicles. Okay. So 3%, let's say you found an account that's going to give you 3%. You took $10,000 and you put it in that account and you let it sit. Now you're not putting anything into this account. It's just sitting, right? So you divide 72 by 3, okay? That's going to give you 24. So that means every 24 years, your money is going to double, okay? Now, let's say you've been saving for 48 years. By the time 48 years rolled around, you've got $40,000. Now, I don't know about you, but $40,000 just ain't going to do it for me. I'm so sorry. It's probably going to be the cost of a pair of shoes by the time 48 years roll around, right? Especially with this economy and the way that it's going. So we know 3%, that's not going to cut it. Okay. Now you find a vehicle that's going to give you 6%. Now, same $10,000, you put it in the account, you just let it sit. We're not putting any money in there. Okay. $10,000 sitting at a rate of 6%, 72 divided by 6, that's now 12. So now every 12 years, now your money's growing. Okay. 48 years later, you've got about 160K in there. That's much better than 40,000, but it's still not going to get you through retirement. Now, this is what I don't want. I don't want you to have to retire from retiring. Okay. What do I mean by that? I don't want you to have to go work anywhere part-time because you can't afford to live throughout the rest of your retirement because you ain't got enough money. You there? I heard on the news the other day they're talking about cutting Social Security. Excuse me, sir, ma'am, why are you taking Social Security from these people? That's all they have, right? So if you are, able to save, start now, right now. Okay, don't wait, run, don't walk. Start saving now. And I always tell young people, start investing. Put away $25, $50, $100. Man, if you put away $100 a month for about 20 years in the right vehicle, you could potentially have about $1 million. Think about most of us who work 20, 30, 40 years. We've already blown through $1 million and we don't have anything to show for it, right? So we want to make sure we're saving as much as we can. All right. Now the 12% column. So the 12% column looks a lot better, right? Usually when I do this slide, it's like suspense, right? Because you can't see all of the money. You just see the top $10,000. And then I ask a question, how much do you think you're going to get with 12%, right? Seven, but can't do it here. So you're going to see the answer, right? So 72 divided by 12 is 6. So now every 6 years, your money is doubling. And 48 years later, you've got about $2.5 million in that account, right? These banks, these insurance companies, man, they don't want us to know this. They have no incentive because they need us to be in debt for their bottom line to be met. Okay. So that's what they're doing, taking our money, investing it in the global economy, and then they're giving us back this 3%, this 6%. You're like, Keisha, where am I going to get 12% from? There's nowhere I can get 12% from when you think about it, right? And know that these are all hypothetical numbers. Okay. But when you look at the way that the market has been over the last, 30, 40 years, the average rate of return is usually between 9 and 11 or 9 and 12%. Okay. And so if you're putting your money in the right vehicle to get the right what you're trying to do, then you're going to get good results, especially if you do systematic investing. What do I mean by that? That means putting money away every month. Okay? So that's the rule of 72, right? How do you win the game if you don't know the rules? You can't. I always like talking about Aaron when he was a kid. He was about 4 or 5 years old and he wanted to play football. I put him in a flag football team. Listen, I don't know nothing about football. Okay. I know a little bit now, but then I knew nothing. Okay. I was a cheerleader in high school. And yeah, I knew nothing. I just knew when everybody else behind me was screaming, it was time for me to scream. That's all I knew, right? So my baby wanted to play football, put him in a flag football team. I'm all excited. He's so cute. You know how moms get. Oh, my baby playing football. He gets on the field and he was little and fast, right? So they throw the ball to him. He catches the ball and he's gone. He's like, bang, taking it down. He's off, right? Bam. He's like dodging people, ducking, doing all this fun stuff. And he gets to the goal and he makes the touchdown and he's all excited and he's dancing and we're all cheering. Yay, my baby. I'm screaming because I'm that mom. I will be screaming and hollering for my child, okay? I'm the embarrassing mom. That's my baby. Oh my gosh, right? I'm going in. Now everybody's excited, y'all, except for the coach. Coach was not looking happy. My baby ran to the wrong goal, y'all. He went to the wrong goal. My baby didn't know he was set up for failure. He didn't know, right? He had no clue. So how's he supposed to win if he didn't know that was the wrong goal? All he knew is he had a ball and there was a goal and he needed to get to it, right? That's how our life is, man. That's how we operate on a daily. We know that there's a goal. We're supposed to work. We're supposed to be able to retire and enjoy ourselves, but we have no idea how to get there. If I were to ask you right now, drop in the chat how much money you need to live in retirement, most people are like, I don't know. What you mean? How much money do I need? How much money do you need in order to live in retirement? Because retirement is no longer how old you are, it's how much money you have, right? And so that's important to know. How do I get there, Keish? Let me tell you. You need to know how much money every month you're going to need to pay your expenses, to travel, to shop, to do whatever it is that you want to do in retirement. You're going to need to know that. And the way that you know that is by thinking about those things. What do I need in retirement? How much money am I going to need? Is there anybody that's going to be depending on me in retirement? Do I have the proper insurances in place if anything were to happen to me and I needed to live in a nursing home, or if I needed a home health aid? Do I have the right protection available so that the money doesn't have to come out of my retirement income? Right? Which account am I putting my money in after I retire? All of these things are things that you've needed. Okay. Hey, Will. I've started a stash custodial account for my kids. That's how you do it, right? That is exactly how you do it. You put some money away, man. When they start working, have them put money in it too, because they sure can, right? Because what that teaches them is that teaches them to pay themselves first. That's what we're doing, right? We want to make sure we pay ourselves first, and we want to make sure that the money is going in the right places. All right. The custodial account, I'm curious, Will, we should talk. What kind of custodial account is that? There's a bunch of different ones that you can do for kids. Like some people want to put money away for their kids for college. And then there's some people that are like, I want to put money away, but what if my kids don't end up going to college? That's the reality of the world today, man. Kids are not going to college. Kids are straight up starting their own businesses, man. Listen, influencers, do you know how much money they make? Man, these kids out here making six figures. They're starting businesses at 4 years old. I think there's a 4-year-old makeup artist. 4? Stop it. Things are different, right? So you want to make sure you're putting your money in the right accounts for sure so that you can capitalize on what you've got. And here's the thing. I'm like this. I'm all for educating people, right? I'm all for letting people know the key facts because when people are afraid and when people are confused, when people don't know, they cannot make the right decisions for themselves. Okay. So I always want to make sure that folks that work with me know all of the key facts so that they can make the best decisions for their household, even if they don't work with me. Right. As long as I know that I've given you the tools that you need to get what you need to get to where you want to go, I'm happy, right? Because I want to make sure that you, especially if we're cool, like if we're friends or whatever, like my clients are all my friends. I always build a relationship with them because one, I want to make sure that I'm in your life forever. Okay. I want to be invited to the parties. I want to be invited to the cookouts. I want to be invited to all the big events. Like I'm a part of the family now, right? Because I care. I genuinely have concern for you and I want to make sure that you are good when I'm working with you, right? And that's what you need. You need to be able to ask all the questions that you want to ask. You need to know the questions to ask, right? And you want to make sure that the plan that you put in place is the best plan for you. Okay. Now I said we're only going to be here on an hour. I keep my promises. We are done at 9 o'clock. If there's any questions that you have, please feel free to drop it in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer it. If you are interested in having a more conversation one on one, drop your email in the chat. If you want to be on my email list, drop your email in the chat. I'll put you on the list so I can keep you posted for whatever is coming next on Sundays at 6 o'clock. I'm here doing retirement planning information. I might switch it up a little bit. Maybe this Sunday I'll talk about the different life insurance policies, or maybe I'll talk about the different investment vehicles. But on Sundays I'm here 6 o'clock, and on Thursdays 8 o'clock. Okay, we're gonna have more conversations. I'm gonna break down the different types of life insurance policies. We're gonna talk about those whole life policies. We're gonna talk about infinite banking, and we're gonna talk about all of those things so that you all understand how it works. We're going to talk about how investment works. I'm going to teach you about mutual funds. What does that even mean? What the difference between a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA. And we're also doing next Thursday, we're going to do a live for small business owners. So if you know any small business owners, please share my information with them because we are going to teach them how to be more competitive in terms of hiring, right? How can we get better quality employees? And that's by being able to offer them a benefits package, right? People need benefits. And how can you do that, right? As a small business, sometimes they can't afford it. So we're teaching small businesses how to build a benefit package that they can utilize, that they can leverage to be more competitive in the market. All right. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. It is always a pleasure. It's always fun. I love when my friends are here. Good to see you, Will. Thanks for stopping by. If you want to be on my mailing list, just drop your email address and I'll put you on there, or my text list. And, I like to text little fun stuff and tips and tricks and things like that. So if you're looking forward to doing that, just drop your information in the chat and I will be sure to follow up. Thanks so much, everybody. Keisha Natalee Cole, aka K Talking Sense, fearless by design. Let's live fearlessly 2023, man. It's time. We've been through way too much foolishness, man. The last couple of years, if that has not taught you to get your life in order, I'm gonna need you to get your whole house in order. Okay. Y'all know that song. I don't know if y'all know that song, that old school gospel song, Get Your House in Order. Okay, do it today. I'm just trying to tell you, get your house in order, y'all. Do it today. And we're going to live fearless in 2023. Thanks so much. I'm out.